Yo, 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 good evening, everyone. I'm Alexa Spatty, coming to you live from the Great Hall in Entheon, Sanctuary of Visionary Art. How's everybody feeling tonight? Okay. Amazing. Okay, that makes me feel good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The full moon and the vernal equinox mark a sacred threshold, a moment of equilibrium between light and dark, inner and outer, past and future. And tonight is a time to pause, reflect, and realign with our highest intentions as we step into a brand new season. So with that, I think we should unclench our jaw, yeah? And let's take a nice balancing inhale and exhale. Can we do that together real quick? All right, here we go. Inhale, balance. Exhale, resistance. Bye-bye. And let's begin. Are you ready to have the best night of your life tonight? Are you sure? We're going to have the best night of our lives? Oh, amazing. Well, let's keep it going. It is my joy to introduce the visionary stewards of this sacred space. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to CoSM founders and visionary artists Alex Gray and Allyson Gray. Here they are. Yeah!
Well, you know,
Happy
it is
full moon,
happy
everyone.
full moon.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
it is the time to have the best time of your life. You know what time that is? Now.
The eternal present.
And
yeah.
now, and now, and now, and the consecutive moments of now. We should have the best time of our life right now. Thank you, Alexa. She's so awesome. Oh, gosh, and thank you for the whole team. They're so awesome. We have an incredible team putting this together. Let's just thank them right off the bat. Yeah.
Thank you for inspiring this madness, I have to say.
Oh.
You know, she came up with the sacred mirrors and, you know, kind of like, so that's at the foundation of everything. And so...
Thank you for allowing me to be a partner to such a genius, honestly. Woo, I don't often go off like this, but honestly, no, we're very grateful, and we're really grateful for you being here. That's where we're really, that's the base of everything, is that you are here and that you came to celebrate with us, because it is so wonderful to have such a large family to celebrate with on all these special occasions. So, you know, what were you going to say? What were you going to tell us? Why do we celebrate the full moon, Alex? What is it about the full moon that we celebrate?
Well, you know.
I've heard, but maybe some
The
people
shaman told us.
That's right.
Basically, Alex Stark is a shaman, a friend of ours, who knew of our desire to create a sacred space and a chapel, had heard us talking about it for years and said, you know, Alex and Allyson, a chapel is actually the work of a community, and rarely, you know, just one artist. So let's start doing full moon ceremonies. That has worked in the past to bring people together.
He was the chairman of the prayer committee.
Yeah.
He gave himself that chairmanship, and guess who else was on the prayer committee?
Rosie. Yeah.
Rosie, stand up, Rosie. My sister from another mister.
So
She was at the first full moon.
Every full moon ceremony,
Yep.
but there is a founding member actually here that was here prior
Yes.
to, and that is Bex. You are here tonight.
Bex, where's that
you-
Bex?
Get
Get up there,
stand up.
Bex.
This is an amazing.
Bex Wilkinson.
artist, friend, and
Listen, let me tell you, why are we
co-founder of the
making
chapel.
such a fuss over Bex? If you've ever been downstairs in the inspiration room, there is a hologram, and it's of her father. And Bex was the person who encouraged and made it possible for us to be a nonprofit organization in 1996, and all along the way, and our chairman of the board for probably 20 of those years. So anyway, she's here from Idaho. She came all the way from Idaho, and so meet up with these people, find out their stories. But her dad was instrumental in the vision that we had of a chapel of sacred mirrors. It was because of him that we had this vision that we should have known that we had to do it, but we had these sacred mirrors. Here they are, and. But we had them in our closet, and they didn't even have frames on them yet. But we, like Alex had, we had created, Alex painted them. I knew that he could paint them because he got an A++ on his anatomy final, and that was the start, just the start of it. He was such a billboard painter. He was such a realist. So we came up with this idea, but it was like his job for 10 years to paint them.
Yeah, and then Marshall wanted to buy them, and we said, okay. And he said, oh, that's great. I heard you guys like to trip. I don't know, have you ever tried MDMA? No, actually, we hadn't. And so he gave us some MDMA. And so actually, a few days later, we took the MDMA, and then we saw the chapel.
Both of us, simultaneous vision.
Sacred mirrors there. Okay. And so we had to call up Marshall and say, we can't
We're not going to sell the sacred
not going to
mirrors.
sell the sacred mirrors. Thank you for the MDMA, though. That was really great.
But Beck stepped up right away. She stepped up early and lasted enduringly as our friend to help us along the way, and a great advisor and a dear friend, and a great painter, too, by the way. Yeah. She's having shows all over the place. So anyway, look for her. And what I wanted to say, though, is our first full moon was January of 2003, when we started with Alex Stark. And so here we are. It's the 277th in a consecutive and unbroken chain of full moon ceremonies. That's where we are right now, right here together. You guys in the room and you people out in the world. We broadcast this all over the world. We have friends in Australia and Finland and Guatemala, and all places across the U.S. and Canada and Mexico. Turn around and say hello to them. Just wave. Hi, you guys. We love you. We know this because we started broadcasting during COVID, and we met all these people. So we started. So 277 is our number, and you add that all up, and you get the number 7. Oh, see, he's done it already. We were mentally telepathic, TJ and I. But anyway, yes, so it's 277, then it adds up to 7. 7 is the number of the angel. 1 head, 2 arms, 2 legs, and 2 wings. So you have 7, and 7 is a really holy number. It's the 7 days of creation. You have the 7 chakras. You have the what else? So you have what's that?
The colors.
Colors of the rainbow. 7 colors of the rainbow. So anyway, 7 is a holy number, and so that's the tone of the night. It's festive and it's joyous, but it's also holy. So we want to be really good to each other and really nice to everybody we don't know. Can I ask how many people have never been to a full moon ceremony before? Look at that. Welcome, welcome. How many people came to more than one full moon ceremony, but this time they brought a friend that had not been to a full moon? Oh, now you see. You get a gold star.
Thank you.
Go. Well, what do we...
also, they like to give terms to moons,
Oh, yes, what's the moon?
This is a kind of an interesting one, because we just had an eclipse, a full eclipse, so they call that a blood moon, because it kind of turns it red. You've probably seen it one time or another. So we had just had a blood moon, And it's also this is the time when the ground gets moist, you know, and the worms start to crawl. So they call it the worm moon. So the blood worm moon is like
bloody
somehow,
wormy moon.
you know, bloody worms. It's really something. I think we can all get next to that. But they also call it the crow moon. And,
The crow moon,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the worms, the crows are coming. And so...
And we're the crow. Well, we were by our Native American elder called Alex, the crow medicine grandfather, and I'm the crow medicine grandmother. So I like, and we're the three
Bex,
crows.
we've
Bex
always-
is a crow.
Yeah.
We're the three crows.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're celebrating the theme of balance because it's the equinox. You know, next week. Next week. This is the full moon. We're celebrating them both together, so we talk about them both. But we're going to talk about balance. We're going to talk about the vernal equinox and how it's celebrated all over the world and why. So let's get started with that. Are we ready?
Yeah,
Did I
think
forget
so.
anything?
Let's do it. Let's.
So after winter's death of nature comes springtime resurrection. The day and night stand in perfect balance. This is the day.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the day is actually the 20th this year, so we have it coming up this week.
Right, but that you know, seeing that kind of the flowers break through the snow and everything, it's like the flavor of the time, and I feel like so excited, you know, because it's like rebirth. You know, this is what springtime represents, and I feel like we have a new show downstairs in the All One Gallery. We had amazing artists and a panel talk here today that was really inspiring. And for each artist, you know, it's like a way to recharge. I think Jacaber was mentioning, actually looking at psychedelic art as like microdosing through your eyes, you know? You're seeing into another world and into a new consciousness. And so expand your mind, look at art. And this new show is very beautiful, kind of spring awakening and rebirth, I think, of some really important soul stuff. So
The theme of the show, you know, you can read about when you go down there. It's inner sanctums, and all the pieces do reflect the inner worlds of the artist, and in the show. And at the same time, we want to show a variety of what we consider to be the answer to the question, what is visionary art? So there are certain recurring motifs in visionary art, and some of these works reflect on those in their own completely original and unique ways. And we have 4 of the artists that are in the show with us tonight. Would you mind standing up and turning around, just saying hello to everybody?
we'd love to give you a round of applause.
Yes.
We have Jacaber Castor, Bo Bartlett, Joe Coleman, and
Sebastian
Wall.
And we're just so grateful. And if you see them out and about, they won't be reluctant to talk to you. They're very friendly. So these are people that we love and appreciate their work so greatly. And come to a tour sometime. We'll be having tours coming up, and we'll talk about each work. So that'll be really great. I'm so excited about the show. It's so gorgeous. We're so happy with it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Oh, wait. Yeah. I thought we should have some orienting generalities.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. I like to, anyway, anything that's about light. I think it's great to even just imagine this, because it's all imagination. Scientists are imagining that this happened. What? Like, 13.8 billion years ago there was nothing, and now there's everything. Anyway, I think that's a great theory. You know, and now, you know, boom, it's everything. And galaxies are here. Let's keep going.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's keep
we're here. This is our local
our sun.
Our local sun.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, I mean, our whole seasonal shift is all about our, you know, kind of
Solar system.
I guess our tilt as a planet.
That's right. Here it comes. This is the
Yeah.
blue marble in space that we
Just-
are.
You know, it's got to be one of the most gorgeous and seductive little gems in the universe.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
you think? I mean, everybody wants to come to this planet.
We certainly haven't seen anything like it.
have arrived.
All right. So this talks about the solar eclipse is when the sun crosses the Earth's equator. It shows appearing directly above the equator, not north or south of the equator, rising due east. So these are diagrams that artists have done, made by artists who want to describe, you know, outer space and what we look like in it. You know,
This is the one day that the tilt of our axis, you know, is like right on that kind of.
well, it's 2 days. It's actually
Yeah,
1 day twice a
exactly.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here we go. This shows, you know, how it turns. But you know what I like? I like this one. Let's see if it works. There, you see, it's actually turning, and you can see that the tilt like goes in the other direction as it goes around. It's like a little, yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure if that really, you know, like describes it well enough. But it does go right across the equator. The equator just is in the middle of turning from 23 degrees this way to 23 degrees this way. And in the middle, it has this, you know, the equator effect.
Love that.
Okay, so this is where the Stonehenge is in, you know, outside of London. We were there. And the sun comes right down.
It's
through
a sun
that,
trap. Yep.
Yeah. Through that
Solar
middle key in the temple.
Yep.
This is what it looks like from above,
Yeah.
really, truly. And this is
Not
sort
like
of a
it used to be.
diagram
Yeah.
where the heel stone, the sun comes through and hits the heel stone. And there, you see, there are people there, actually, a lot of people there on this holiday.
The hippies camp there.
Well, there are a lot of people. They try to keep the hippies away, but there are people all, you know, worshiping there. They don't want druids. I don't know what's wrong with druids, but there we are, standing by the Stonehenge. We loved it. God, we finally made it there. Well, this is something I should probably tell you about. The Great Pyramid of Giza, the Great Sphinx, and the Pyramid of Khafre in Egypt are all aligned with the vernal equinox, the day when day and night are equal in length. On the equinox, standing directly between the paws of the Sphinx. Wait a second. Do we have that? There we are. Oh, no, we're not at the paws of the Sphinx. Here we are. We're in the paws of the Sphinx. There's this. You have to go to these places on the equinoxes and stand between the paws of the Sphinx. I mean, you know, why not? Because it comes right down the nose, right down the face, right in between the paws. You know, you get out there at 3 o'clock in the morning so that you can be standing there and looking out, and it rises right in front of you. Okay, so that's that story. Yeah. So what did you feel? Oh, empowered.
I felt like, you know, that we had built this thing. You know, like we had all built this thing like thousands of years ago so that we could come back and wonder, how the fuck did we ever build these things? I don't know. Jesus, this is crazy. You know, and yeah, it was like that. And also, it's totally aliens. It's
Well,
good, yeah.
The buzz that you hear, and it may or may not be true, but that the Sphinx was certainly there before the Egyptians were there. They found these things there and inhabited that place. And well, watch the Graham Hancock. It's really amazing, that Graham Hancock. Anybody love that? It's incredible. All right, let's keep going. This is us. We went twice. Go down the Nile on a boat. I'm just saying. What? Keep going. Yeah. All right. Well, the Druids are, they like to celebrate the stars and the equinoxes and solstices. And Druid is Celtic for knowing the oak tree. The Druid was a member of a learned class among ancient Celts, and they studied the powers of the natural world. And interestingly, in this picture, though, because we're really into art, this said, where it was printed, it said it was a portrayal by a non-Druid of Druid Burning Man. So the Druid Burning Man image was done by a non-Druid. It was like an anti-Druid. Can you imagine being against Druids? God, they loved nature.
The Wicker Man is a wicked man.
But the Wicker Man is filled with people. There are people inside of it, and they're going to burn it on fire. That was why it was obvious that. But Druid wisdom is known.
I don't really think they were that violent a people,
No,
really.
whoever did the drawing,
Not at
who
all.
knows?
They were like Taoists, They were getting along with nature, And the green man whole archetype kind of comes out of that. It's like, and Osiris was also like a green man as well, So this kind of life force of nature being part of the visionary archetypes, that
Did you show our
still
green
part
man?
of our-
Go back. I
Yeah, I
show.
did. It's
Hoodies.
in there.
Hoodie
Yeah.
Salinas.
Yeah.
That's. Look around.
Yeah, there's a
You gotta
tree
get him
with-
back here and fix it up a little. Yep.
Yep. And Eleusis, there's a greater and a lesser mysteries of Eleusis. And this is the time of the lesser mysteries, the spring. The fall, then the autumn is the greater mysteries. But this...
Well, the Eleusis was where the temple of Demeter and the temple of Persephone. The Persephone and Demeter cults were a trek every year to Eleusis from Athens. It was like a 2-mile, or no, it's more than 2 miles. It's a long walk. Maybe it's 20 miles, 30 miles. It took them 2 days. That's what it was. And they had to camp by the side of the road and stuff, like Burning Man. It was like everybody would go to Eleusis, and the initiates, and only the initiates, they had to be like in training for like a year with austerities and everything. Then they got to take the kykeon, which was the sacred liquid that was hallucinogenic, basically. And they found residue of it in these special cups that have big eyes on them. You'll see them at the Met, like places in the natural history museums. There are these cups where they drank the kykeon. So this temple of Eleusis was, of course, destroyed by, Christians, but that's the truth. And they didn't like, the Romans, when they got to be Christians, they didn't want to have this sort of Demeter and Persephone cult. But if you want to learn, we'll tell you about that in a minute. So here's the Temple of Demeter at Eleusis.
This is Demeter, who's bereft because Persephone's been carried off by Hades.
And
then
these two pictures, the one on the left is Hades and Persephone, and he's offering her the pomegranate seeds, because if she eats anything when she goes down into Hades, she can never return. But he tempts her, and she eats the pomegranate seeds. And so then she becomes, her mother becomes bereft, and everything starts to die, and Zeus proclaims that talks to his brother Hades, and they decide that she can come back every 6 months. So she comes back to be with her mother in the springtime, which is now, and that's why they celebrate the vernal equinox with Persephone's return. And then she has to go back, though, every year, because she ate the pomegranate seeds. So that's what's going on the left-hand side.
It's
the right-hand side, she's emerging.
Personification of the seasons, of the return of spring and then the falling away of nature.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Now on the left you have Triptolemus is the little guy in the middle of Demeter and Persephone. And Demeter was, gave the knowledge of agriculture to the mortals through Triptolemus, who was in a family of people, his parents and that took her in when she was so bereft that she looked like a homeless person. And they took her in to take care of their children, and she was actually a goddess. So she couldn't make him immortal, but she did give him agriculture. So that's how agriculture came to humanity, was through Triptolemus. Triptolemus.
Yeah.
We like to say.
Trip dilemmas.
Triptolemus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was always a lot of talk about what kind of psychedelics might have been involved in these kind of cults and things.
Wait a second, what are you doing?
But
Yeah. You
I
don't want to
feel
talk
like
about these? We have to go?
yeah, I think that we should keep moving.
All right.
I just
love
wanted
this.
to.
I love some of these things, and I do want to show some of the holidays that people celebrate.
Well, certainly you want to mention Addis, who
absolutely.
is, and Addis and Sibel's famous kind of love affair, I guess. It's a,
The interesting thing about Addis was that he was born of a human woman as a virgin named Nana, and that he grew up to become a sacrificial victim and savior, slain to bring salvation to humankind. The body of Addis was eaten by his worshippers in the form of bread. Addis was crucified on a pine tree, whence his holy blood poured down to redeem the earth, quote unquote. The celebration of Addis is held on March 25th, which is right around the equinox, 9 months before his birth on December 25th. Interestingly.
And it was all celebrated on Vatican Hill.
Just so happens. All on Vatican Hill. And they took it over.
Amazing
They
coincidence.
took it over to put the Vatican on there as a damn sacred site, All right, so this shows a festival that's celebrated in India to welcome spring, where they throw the powdered pigments. Have you ever seen this? It's amazing, right? So Ramadan is the month of fasting and prayer that commemorates Muhammad's revelation. And there they are. They come around and they fast for a day. And then they have a big feast. Oh, did you show the feast? I guess there's some feasting there going on. It doesn't matter.
Feasting later. Yeah, this is the angel Gabriel giving the message.
They are feasting.
And then this is the meal.
It's
afterward.
the picnic after
Yeah.
the ceremony. Yeah. Ramadan, break fast. Jews do it too. Many religions have fasting and break fast celebrations. Keep going. Nowruz, the Persian New Year, the Vernal Equinox Festival, it means new day. And so there's 7 Nowruz ceremonial dishes. They all begin with the sound of the letter S. And these are all in Persian. But it's interesting how religions become a way of eating. This is ritual food, because food piques your interest, and you can learn through if each food represents a symbol, it helps you to remember the symbols of the holiday, and Jews do that too a lot. And but Nowruz, I wanted to say that. Let's move on. Kuku sabzi. I just wanted to tell you, people who like food, this is what you eat on Nowruz. And I made some kuku sabzi, and I make it every vernal equinox. It's just a lot of spinach frittata is what it is. It's a frittata with spinach. It's really good, and it's really pretty. And write me, and I'll give you the recipe. I make it every year. All right, now here's the story of Esther. This is my faith. This is my tradition, so Judaism. So I like to celebrate Purim because it happens on the full moon of March every year. And it's the story of it's the book of Esther. And the book of Esther is a Megillah, means it's not in the Torah, if you know what the Torah is. It's the scroll that Jews read. But it's a separate scroll. it made it after the Torah. You know, the Torah was already written, so they started to do these scrolls. And they have a few of these, the Book of Daniel, the Book of Esther. So the Book of Esther, at the holiday of the Book of Esther, it's a little bit like for Jews, like the combination of Thanksgiving and Halloween. Because all the kids get dressed up like the 7 characters in the story. And we have done this story before with puppets, and we've done it. There's actually a puppet show at CoSM.tv that you can watch the story of Esther that was created by our own Perry Kroger and me. I did the script, and you know, he worked with others and made the puppets and things. But anyway, it's a wonderful story, so it's only a paragraph, and I'm going to read it to you, because what you're supposed to do also on Purim, if you go to synagogue, is you have to read. Somebody has to read, or they have to act it out as cowboys, or whatever they want to do. It's a very creative holiday, and people write poetry, make up songs, for it, and it's really a children's holiday greatly too. But anyway, you're supposed to tell the whole Megillah, because the scroll is called a Megillah. So if you ever heard of the whole Megillah, that's where that comes from. So I'm going to do the whole Megillah really short here. Okay, here it goes. The Book of Esther tells the story of a Persian queen over 2,000 years ago. King Ahasuerus inherited the throne when he married Vashti, the granddaughter of the cruel king Nebuchadnezzar. Boo. No, but we're not there yet. When Vashti, there's places where you boo, it's absolutely true. When Vashti refused to dance the 7 veils before hundreds of guests, Ahasuerus had her publicly beheaded. To replace Vashti as queen, the king held a beauty contest and chose Esther, a poor Jewish orphan, to be his next queen. Esther kept it a secret that she was a Jew until the new prime minister, Haman, posted a threat that citizens should loot the possessions and take the lives of Esther's people. Esther risked her life by approaching the king, and through her grace and courage, she was able to save the life of her community. So it's really, truthfully, underneath it all, like we went to the underneath it all of what was his name, the Christian story told earlier. But anyway, in this, it's really Esther. Sounds a lot like estrus, right? And it's all about, taking away the goddess and replacing it with the paternalistic notion. And so she was very dutiful, and she was very gracious. She was timid, but she took risks and went to see the king, because he had already chopped off the head of his last wife, because she wouldn't dance the 7 veils for his 100,000 guests. But whatever it is, she does represent femininity as a new style for, I think, the Jewish people at that time. But anyway, let's look at the pictures. These are some of the paintings that have been done around the Esther story. This is Esther before Ahasuerus. The king was choosing her, and but this is by Artemisia Gentileschi. So I thought that is particularly wonderful, since she's one of the rare female realists that of that period, the 1600s, that you ever even see. And there's a few that are coming out now, which is really, really nice. So I loved seeing this piece. And King Ahasuerus makes Esther the queen, so that's her coronation right there, done another mid 1600s. And Haman begging the queen, boo, Esther, for Queen Esther for his life, and King Ahasuerus ordering his execution. So in the end, she was victorious over the evil prime minister, Haman. Boo, those prime ministers, boo. All right, keep going.
Well, and what's always interesting is the Hamantashen
here we go.
Cookies,
there they are.
That
this is
are
Hamantashen.
filled with the sins of Haman. You
That's
know,
right.
but
It's this
I mean,
V, it's
Haman
this
is
absolute-
a lot like hymen
Yeah.
with you know, really, and the triangle like that is very much a
They fill-
fertility
they-
kind of a symbol. I think there's a lot of seeds in there.
Yeah, it's
you know
always
what I'm talking
the traditional filling is a poppy seed filling. It's poppy seeds with like honey and stuff, and so and these are such feminine symbols and filled with poppy seeds. It's just, I mean, it makes it really obvious, but I love them. They're really delicious, and you see them all through New York, year round because they're so good. Okay, get yourself a hamantaschen
Sweet fertility
and
symbols.
eat it. Eat that Haman. To watch the story of Esther by the CoSM Puppet Players, go to YouTube, go to CoSM.tv, go to the story of Esther. That's Perry. Now these are our two champs balancing an egg on the vernal equinox. That is TJ and Alexa. They did it, and there's the documentation of it. It actually can be done. All right, well, let's say something about balance. I'll let you take it. You want to do it, Alex? Here. All right, well, I'll read the thing. We just wrote a little thing on balance because that is their theme. Oh no, you're going to do the gray point. Very good. Okay, well, balance can be a metaphor for mental or emotional stability, calm behavior, and good judgment. Noticing balance in oneself or others implies an awareness of or display of composure and poise, even a graceful presence. So there we go. More images of balance. Maintaining balance in life is essential for overall well-being, ensuring physical, mental, and emotional health. Our needs are met without overly emphasizing on one area over another. Overworking or personal neglect can lead to stress and burnout, while balanced approach would help us manage and mitigate issues at the cause. So these are the thoughts that we're having about balance. It's a metaphor for what we strive for in our life is balance of all things.
Yeah, no, and it's always like that vision, balance. It's rarely do you feel it so much, but given that seasons are like this opportunity for you to kind of like get hooked into the spirit of the season, so the equinox, it's like an opportunity to imagine balance and to, kind of recenter in it.
Put your life back in balance, like all the sticks all over your yard that you have to pick up and, like clean it up. It's all spring cleaning and, yeah.
That's a really good point. One of the cool things I learned about as I was going along as an art school was this guy, Paul Klee, who was like a German kind of, they call him expressionist, I suppose, but abstract painter and stuff. And he came up with this idea about the gray point, or what he called, it's even cooler in German, Graupunkt. Graupunkt. So the Graupunkt was like, you have to imagine like a line, say that is, like an imaginary line, okay? So you got black here, white at the top, and it goes like a perfect kind of blend all the way up through all the grays up to the white, black to white. So, so then you spin like a sphere around the line, okay? And so you have this imagined kind of sphere. Maybe the sphere is like also dark at the bottom, light at the top, okay? So now imagine like if the outside of the sphere was like, let's say it's like an orange, and you have like little orange sections or something like that. So those sections are like different like colors that go around like in a spectrum all the way around the outside of it.
I think what you're describing is a three-dimensional color wheel.
Yeah. So let me right. So let's next he was kind of imagining it like this. So you see the dark and then the light, and then in the center and around it are all the colors. So I tried to make a quick sketch of this idea as well here. So you can see kind of the sphere, and the skin of it is the full chroma. But then as it comes toward the center, it starts to go grayish tints, you know, and so it tints the color all the way until it gets to the center point, and it becomes like different tones of gray. Now, this is an elaborate kind of description of like how to think about all the color tones, but there's something very interesting, which they call the gray point. Now that is the very center, like of the, say, the line, you know, and that center point is like right in the center also, say, of the sphere. Now, the gray point is the only color without an opposite. Every other point in the sphere has a polarity to it. You can go warmer, you'll go cooler. If you go, you know, to one color side, then there's an opposite. You know, so this is to imagine a place of sacred neutrality and peace outside of the war of polarities and opposites. It's an interesting idea, you know, a place of peace. You know, in a way, you know, they say like God is a circle whose circumference is boundless and center is everywhere, because, you know, we're all the center. But in that center is like the great point, you know, because it's unpolarized. It's like, it's all inclusive. It's non-dual. It's very interesting. So just metaphorically, I thought, you know, like, that's kind of cool. Graupunkt, yeah.
So we want to introduce to you, if you haven't seen it before, you've probably seen it many times, the sculptures that we're planning for the exterior of Entheon. And we are in the well, you want to talk a little bit about the process that we're in right now of building the sculptural exterior.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've seen what it looks like. You know, it's a big concrete box. You know, but it was built strong so it will hold the weight of the basically masks, and they will be
more than masks, though. It'll also hold the murals and the
Absolutely.
letters and the serpents and the corner angels and yeah. So there's all the sculptures.
The weight of all the sculpture that will be attached to the building, and so the engineer is working on the drawings, and it's very exciting that there's an actual genius who's been working on ornamental concrete in downtown Manhattan for like 40 years. And he said, I'm tired of fixing leaks in antiques and would like to, you know, do a crazy thing. This looks like fun to me. So